Hello, hello, hello. Testing one, two, three. Welcome back. This is the Combo Couch. We are here on Broadway and Pine Streets where protesters are gathered again. Uh, the police have infiltrated the streets, the Chaz Chop, and have blocked off every entryway. And protesters are now standing at every entranceway. This one in particular is one of the main entranceways. And right now, they're doing a silent protest for George Floyd. 8 minutes and 46 seconds in the middle of the intersection here. If we can pan around to the intersection, you will see that these protesters, who most that I've asked are not in any organization or group, are here in solidarity by themselves. And that is our scene here today. The time is 8 p.m. now in Seattle.
I'm gonna share the link. Can I see your phone?
So they, one of the main protesters said that they were coming out here at 8 p.m. every day now since Chaz Chop has been broken down. And here we are. We're going to be watching this unfold. Earlier today, protesters were at City Hall, which I was able to record some of that.
This is a moment of silence, whether you're doing an interview or not. If we're doing a moment of silence, we need silence.
Absolutely.
We need you to go now.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to mumble, but yes, absolutely. So it is a moment of silence, so we will respect that. So as you can see, the 8 minutes and 46 seconds is up now. And people are chanting George Floyd's name.
George Floyd! George Floyd!
And I believe they're repeating this protest, blocking off the intersection. So as you can see, it blocks off the intersection over here. They are now chanting Breonna Taylor's name. I'm going to let Feet take over.
Hey guys. I'm just gonna go listen over here.
The way to this is two simple steps. The first step, knowledge is king. The second step, listen to all the queens. And that goes for this flag that you guys are standing on here. So my men, remember, shut the fuck up and listen to women. My women, I really want to say this as softly and as beautiful as possible. Please pay attention to each other and listen to each other so you can provide us with the message that we need. Everyone, we need to make this message larger than George Floyd. We had children in here trying to do gang initiations on CHOP. We were trying to save them from gangs. Those evil fucking gangs that they play. Unfortunately, we were not able to get to them in time with our message. However, we will spread it to the rest of the world, for children do not have to be raised up thinking that they need to be gangsters. They need to have intelligence and knowledge and listen to their women. Thank you very much.
Can I get some pockets world?
Pockets world!
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 That was an interesting message, Pam.
Interesting, right?
It was about listening to women.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. You know, just going back to the whole system, still very patriarchal. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's true. So I believe that people are going to march from here to City Hall. I think that was the original plan. I'm not sure.
They said they were going to go with the flow.
Okay. So they changed it up.
Spoke with them earlier, yeah.
Okay.
If anyone needs a ride to Magazine Park, I am leaving soon. I have 2 spots. Okay. I'll take a spot.
Hey. I have a feeling too that people are going to be out here for a while, and then there's going to be a standoff with the police.
Yeah.
That's just my personal gut feeling. I don't think people are leaving. As what we witnessed in Beverly Hills last time we were there, you guys saw the protesters stay till the very, very end. And the police were still like, you can go,
Accountable, right?
but I don't
We
know.
hold each other accountable, right? So why can't they? Why can't they hold themselves accountable? Love is accountability, right? We gotta hold each other accountable, so why can't they?
They don't got no love.
They don't got no love.
So
Take off your riot gear.
there's no, they keep repeating this in a lot of protests because the police are wearing riot
Take
gear.
off your riot gear. I don't see no riot gear. Take
For-
off your riot gear. I don't
for
see
what?
No riot gear. Take off your 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 riot gear. I don't see no riot here. Take off your riot gear. Take off your riot gear. Take off your riot gear. Take off your riot gear.
The heads up, they're starting to point this direction. I don't know what they're thinking.
Really?
Yeah. It's like in this general area, I can't tell if it just, but I mean, imagine that's where they're looking for where the noise is coming from. So I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but he just said that they're starting to point over here. There's several sections. There's this section right here, and there are other streets with the same protesters on one side, police on the other side. And obviously, this is a very large group of people. They always bring in backup when they feel overwhelmed by all these protesters with signs. So, yeah. Do you want to check out any other part, or?
Should we walk over there?
Yeah, we'll walk and come back. Okay.
We're going to walk down this
We're gonna walk and then come right back. We just want to check it out. Okay. Huh. Sorry. Where was the last time we came up with? It was this way, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So there's a lot more people than what it seems like, and people are still getting here. This didn't officially start till 8 o'clock. So that means people are going to be coming in, trickling in later. And this is every night. They're doing this every night at 8 o'clock.
Looks like they're planning to march.
Yeah.
That gentleman in particular.
Yeah. They might start soon. Are they starting right now?
I think so.
All right, let's go then.
All right, y'all, let's get it going. We're about to start heading out.
There they go. So everybody's getting ready to march to City Hall. I think that was the point, but how do you feel it is compared to LA?
Compared to LA, well, I mean, LA at the peak, I mean, I don't know. This is like, I feel like Seattle and LA both at their peak were probably pretty.
I think now this is taking on like a different. It's it's almost like it's more. I think it's more. People are angrier
Yeah,
because they've seen what the police have done, and like nothing has really happened to them.
exactly. Um, yeah, people were really angry about the police taking down the Chaz Chop earlier today at 5 a.m. Understandably so. So
Yeah, just a reminder they were providing a lot of services to the community that
should be.
provided by it should be provided by the local government, the electeds. Also earlier today, the mayor was trying to push for Shama Sawant to be kicked out of the city council, claiming that because Shama Sawant doxed her, put her place of living. So that was what was going on with the city council meeting. Shama Sawant is one of the most leftist people we have in general in government, but she not single-handedly, but with the power of the people, managed to take on Jeff Bezos and Amazon, which is no small feat. They spent over $1 million to to primary against her, and they still lost, which is hilarious. It just feels I don't know. I think like for the smaller sector though, they're more like they've been doing this longer. I don't know. It feels like they've been doing this a little bit longer.
It's another moment of silence.
Okay. The sign says resign Mayor Durhan. That is the mayor that demanded she issued an order to dismantle Chaz/Shop.
Where are we exactly from? People are asking.
We are in Seattle, in Capitol Hill, which is the area that of Seattle that we're in. Kind of like how in LA we have West Hollywood. This is like Capitol Hill. This is Broadway and Pike, I believe.
Pine.
Pine. And as you can tell, they've stopped traffic. Quite literally. Tonight, we're just going to be monitoring too, like how they treat press and how they treat people who are live streaming, because we were told that they've been going after a lot of the people that were live streaming. Did you get a shot of that over there?
Just read it.
All right. Okay.
Okay, if you're a police officer, you shouldn't be frightened to call police.
Okay. Dream big, renew the 429 Constitution. Who do you serve? Who do you serve? Equality for all. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
It's my favorite quote right
It's one of the best quotes. Absolutely.
there. You district on a big disc.
Absolutely. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the dilemma of violence? Because a lot of people, Black Lives Matter, this whole movement has been advocating peaceful, nonviolent protests. But there comes a point where things aren't happening the way they should be. So, what is your opinion?
Dude, like people getting shot and stuff up here. That stuff goes on anyway up here. So I mean, that's not really connected to this. We don't want that. We want, non-violent change.
Right. And if that doesn't happen, usually that's always led to a revolution. This country was founded on revolutionaries, also on the backs of slaves and Native Americans. But
Well, we don't want violence. There's always going to be those factions of people that, if they're doing it for the right reasons, we shouldn't be committing acts of violence against each other. But if that's what needs to get done in a larger picture or whatever for the world to see, or whoever, lawmakers to see, then that's what needs to happen. But hopefully it just stays nonviolent and we can affect change that way. But
and you're a local person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What other issues do you see here that are impacting the community besides police brutality?
just income disparity mostly. Seattle's, obviously changing. A lot of money coming in with, Amazon and whatnot. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's kind of the root of a lot of what's going on. Beyond, there's still racism going on. That's the main thing with what's going on here. But this is going to spark other things too that are going to be positive, other changes for anybody who's oppressed. So I'm just out here supporting, I'm a white male, so I have that privilege or whatever. And, I'm just here to help and, and support, because they need us. They need our help too. And they're happy we're out here. So
Thank you.
Yep,
Appreciate
no
it.
problem.
Right now, currently, they're doing the 8-minute and 46-second protest in the middle of this intersection here on Broadway and Pine Street.
And then after that, it looks like they're going to be ready to march. So we have no idea exactly where we're going, but we're just going to go with the flow and follow the protesters. Just like in LA, we see people in their cars too joining the protests, mainly because of COVID. A lot of people just are more comfortable. It also helps block, in a way, you can also block the cops. Remember when we were on the highway that time, the cops couldn't really get through because there were so many cars blocking the protesters. So the protesters were able to move without getting kettled. The key is to always keep moving, as we all learned from Johnny and I's. So many young people, you guys. The vast majority.
And that's a trend that we've been seeing at every protest we've been going to. That's a lot more younger generation, millennials, Generation Z, Zoomers. There are some from Gen X.
Maybe, I'm sure, but mostly you see a lot of young people. Oh. Yeah, how do they stop that? guy because that guy's on the. Some of these people are on the. Some of these cars are on the cable. Huh. Wow! Solidarity from the truck driver. Solidarity. What time is it, Johnny? Do you know?
8:32.
8:32. Okay. It's only 32 minutes in the protest. Hmm.
Shall we, let's walk this way.
All right.
Today's been a day for folks.
It was really crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, when's your birthday? Happy 30.
Thank you. Almost like 30 seconds.
Okay, so this is one of the leaders right here with the Black Lives Matter shirt. Brother, how you doing? Welcome back again.
Hello again.
I'm curious if you guys are going to lead a march here.
We? I'm not leading the march. The people here are. There's no leaders in top. Only representatives.
Okay, so it would be a collective conscious decision to march.
Exactly.
I got you. What about plans about going back to City Hall or anything like that?
I do not know. All I know is that I like bagels. And I'm looking for a bagel. Multi-grain, preferably Dave's bagels.
Everything bagel and everything.
Everything bagels.
That's my favorite. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
They always want to be like,
Okay, so here we are again. As you can see, no one really takes leadership role here, which is very interesting. What do you think about that, fam?
It's a very centralized message. Ironically, it's a very emphasized message that there is no one person, and I think that has its benefits because it keeps people from becoming too egocentric and something becoming too totalitarian. That's always been the issue with, the communist movement and certain movements like that. But it also gives the capacity for a lot of chaos. So as long as you know how to manipulate that, it could work to your benefit. It's also harder for the police or anybody in the establishment to pinpoint one person and take them down if you keep them on your toes. That's kind of how the Yellow Vest movement worked. They had many people, not just one person. And thereby you can't just pick one person and take down. So.
Of course, there's pros and cons to that because there's a lot of disorganization, but at the same time, it can be effective. It can be effective. So, again, the time is around 8:35, 8:36 p.m., and we are here live streaming for you. Police are still standing here since I don't know, earlier today. I don't know. They came in at 5 a.m., I believe.
Yeah. 5 a.m. when everybody was sleeping. They tend to do these sweeps when people are sleeping, so there's less people protected. They also do it with the homeless. Obviously, we're from LA, guys, but they do the same things that the LAPD does in LA. They do here, and that shows you something. It shows you that the police, no matter where you go, are generally the same. They're using the same tactics, the same forms of oppression, and they obviously, at this point, I don't think there's time for reform. There absolutely has to be a dismantling of the system and a rebuild.
I flipped him off and told him to give me back my bucket.
What was the news?
I have no idea.
Do you want to know what they said?
No.
They said Angelica is out.
Okay.
Oh, Angelica. What's okay? So remember he mentioned Angelica.
Yes. He alluded earlier that Angelica was walking away from police when they were pushing protesters back, and they just grabbed her and arrested her.
She had her back. She was walking away, and they grabbed her.
She had her back turned to the police.
We've seen
They grabbed her.
We've seen this, Johnny. We saw it in LA when a woman was just trying to get to her car, and they broke her car. They like smashed her car, and they arrested her, put her on the ground. When they're trying to leave, we see it. I mean, this isn't a joke. I just don't. I keep getting really irritated at the people that keep saying that the protesters are the violent ones. When time and time again, these people aren't at the protests. We are. And I am not seeing the violent protesters that the mainstream media and some pundits want to talk about. And they don't take the time. You could find a protest locally, and they don't go.
Yeah, so they just got the news that Angelica, she got out of jail. So that's great news for protesters who got arrested unfairly.
Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Just letting everyone know, they do not deserve peace whatsoever. Don't get it. Don't give them none. Don't be silent. Talk shit. Talk about their shoes.
Whose world?
Everyone's advocating no violence, but not necessarily peace. You know, being loud, and disrupting traffic, as James Butler has said in a previous interview.
It's non-violent, but it's not necessarily peaceful, and that's okay.
Exactly, and that's very interesting. So anyone who says the protests aren't peaceful, it looks like some of the protesters are in agreement. We're not peaceful. Because it's loud, right? It's loud.
Well, like you're not like having a tea party here. You're not okay with what's happening. So in a way, you're disrupting the livelihood. That's why people marched in Beverly Hills shouting "Abolish capitalism," because you're disrupting the current system because you're not okay with it, and that's totally what needs to happen. Because for too long, people have been just really asleep and have been going to brunch and haven't been paying attention. They've been overworked as well, underpaid. And because of the pandemic and because of Donald Trump, like everything's just falling apart. And it's ugly, but at the same time, this wouldn't have happened, I think, without that shakeup of the system. Like I always repeat this, like the sign, that infamous sign, if Hillary Clinton won, we'd be at brunch. This is why I fear the whole like Biden will solve the problems, because this might go away with Biden.
And we just heard that protesters said that the taco place over here kindly opened up their restroom to everybody, which is a big deal. Because if people can't use the restroom, they're going to leave, right? So shout out to that local business, Tacos Guayamos, I can see from here.
Man. And ask my man, Franklin. Franklin, how many of these have you been to? Have you been to very many of these?
Unfortunately, this is only the second one that I've been to because I've been, as you know, we're all busy with the Federation of Independent Media and trying to figure out how to synergize all these people and how to capitalize on the energy that's happening right now. So, no, unfortunately, this is only the second one.
Did you ever see these, the last time you were here, did you ever see the protesters get violent in any way?
No, never.
I have yet to hear a person say that they got violent. The guy that we interviewed earlier said, oh, it's uglier, like they had their time, they need to go, but he never said the word violent. It's personal because when we're there, we've seen Breitbart take our article, our video, we've seen like people completely put out a whole different narrative, and we're right here trying to tell you guys the truth, because this is the truth. No matter where you fall in the political spectrum, to say that the protesters are violent is a complete lie. Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, a rapper? Oh, okay. Fee, there's a comment in the chat that says that they painted a rainbow flag on the street, so everything is fixed. What do you say to that criticism? I mean, I see what they're saying. Everything's symbolic, right?
You gotta have. Look. The Democratic Party is full of symbolisms. The establishment wing of the Democratic Party, they are like that meme with the snake with a little unicorn hat on it, and the Republicans are just a snake, right? Like, which is worse, the person that shows you who they are, even if they're evil, or the person that pretends to be your friend, and that is actually evil? I mean, we can argue that all day, but I think at some point, you can't always manifest everything you want right away. There is a point to symbolism. The problem is only symbolism, right? Like I don't really see why people hyper focus on the statues, why people hyper focus on the LGBTQ flag coming in from the right. Like, why does it matter to you if people drop a flag or if people want to knock down a statue that represents racism? Like, I like, why do you care so much to point it out and not point out what's actually behind this whole thing is people feeling oppressed. People might not even realize that this goes beyond police brutality and racial injustice, but the gentleman we just interviewed, he said this can spring off other things. And I think it's absolutely right. So when you start knocking down something because it's not what you want right away, you're losing that bridge, you're losing that ability to connect to other people because you're telling them that the way they're doing something isn't good enough for you, and you're not listening. People need to learn how to listen, and then maybe people will start listening to you and what you have to say. You can't come at it like, no, this is just BS. This is just da 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 da. There will always be people who co-opt movements. That happens every single time, all the time. But that doesn't mean that the idea and the things that are happening are fake. People are suffering police brutality. I mean, we saw what happened with Elijah McClain. That was just one of the most heartbreaking things to see. And if you're not affected by that, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's real. It's happening. I've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen the police, how brutal they are to people. So I think it's something worth protesting, even if it's not right away what we want. We can get there.
And I'll say that I've heard the demands of some of the temporary leaders of this movement make, particularly today, was they want to defund the police. They want all people who have been arrested out because they were unlawfully arrested. They feel. Along with that, I've heard just reallocating the resources to benefit the community.
It's definitely economic what they're asking for. And by the way, the painted rainbow thing, that's probably had nothing to do with this. In West Hollywood, we have that. We've had it for years because West Hollywood is a section of Los Angeles that is primarily there's a lot of a huge LGBTQ community, and that's why there are rainbow flags on the ground, because they fought and they struggled and they have something that in other countries people still dream of having, which is a place to feel like they're among people like themselves, since everything is pretty much heteronormic. I mean, everything until recently, everything you've watched on TV, every book, every show focused on heterosexual relationships, on all these things. So I don't really see a problem with people putting that, but I want to reiterate that's the city did that. It has nothing to do with the protesters. It's this attitude of like, oh, well, but you're not focusing on the substance of the issue. So. Okay. So we are on 11th and what?
We're walking
Pike.
Pike.
Okay.
We'll go back to like. Should we circle it?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't think they started marching yet, so.
He says there's no collective leadership.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like I agree with that philosophy, like 98% of it, but there's always that risk of it being too chaotic.
Right, disorganized.
But that was like my criticism of before. Like if we look back to how they were able to pinpoint leaders of certain movements before because they were super centralized. We could go back to Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, JFK, Martin Luther King Jr. They took out everybody. But when you have a movement that is not so heavy duty on the one person, that is where I think we need to go. I just don't think a lot of people know how to organize that way. It's one of the hardest things to have an organized, decentralized movement. Because you can still have order and chaos. At least I think.
So the East Precinct is right there on the left.
Like I think my closet is organized chaos. Okay. Well, here you go. Here's the jackpot, you guys. Look at all these cars. Because before I was like, how the hell? There's so many people on bikes. What's going on here? But now I'm seeing all the vehicles.
Yeah, this is the East Precinct that was closed down.
This is what?
The East Precinct that was closed down is right up here on this corner there.
Okay, and there was a precinct that people were saying, fuck this precinct. Is this that precinct or?
I would imagine this is
Because
the one.
there's so many, like
the
all
East
over.
Precinct in Seattle
Yeah.
is the one that's been shut down inside the CHOP. So
Okay. So he said the East Precinct in Seattle is the one that's been shut down, and that's right here where Johnny had the camera just now. So. Okay then.
Should we walk back?
Yeah.
Maybe we can keep going. I don't know.
How far?
It extends the Chaz Chop.
Yep. I don't know. How far did it go?
I mean, I would think this would be the shorter way around from here compared to what we've.
Compared to what we already walked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so.
Okay. I remember walking this like a few years ago when it was like normal. And I thought, oh my God, this is so bougie and like super like gentrified. And it really wasn't my cup of tea. I mean, it's pretty. It's like Beverly Hills and West Hollywood. Like it's pretty, but you feel like it's just so presumptuous and super gentrified because it is. We don't need police. We protect us. Fuck the Ku Klux Klan cops. Ooh, say that fast 5 times. Ku Klux Klan cops. Ku Klux Klan cops. I don't know who was questioning that. Was it Kim or was it somebody else saying that the police didn't come from slave masters? Yeah, but they did though. They legit did. That's another reason why people aren't comfortable with that. I mean, at the very least, people should be comfortable enough to have the discussion a long time ago, like of what would it be like community policing. They pretty much have that in other countries. They don't have the police armed like that on the regular. Like on the regular, a cop is so heavily armed in the United States.
Well, it's because they militarized the police, right? I think Obama, right? He authorized that some of those weapons from the Afghanistan and Iraq war come to.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. No, that's I can't remember the name of it, but that's he did that. That's another thing. Like we as I want to say leftist or anti-establishment, whatever, people who are not okay with the status quo, we should be the ones to educate people on people like Obama. on Biden. Like, instead of saying, damn it, why are these people, like, why are they so dumb? I get it. I get your frustration, but, like, we have to educate them because they've been too busy working, too busy being, like, just numbed by the system. I mean, think about it. You're working 40 hours a week. You're going to go, you're not going to go freaking research what's going on. You're going to go have a drink or, pretty much try to sedate yourself sometimes.
Independent media.
It's independent media. It's funny when people are suspect when we're like, we're probably more leftist than, well, I am. Johnny is too. Johnny's a savage.
Probably like reviewing, visiting, or waiting for orders.
Hello. It's really interesting to me because I'm on the side of the activists, but at the same time, like we're doing right now, we're just gonna show you guys what's happening with no agenda. But obviously, like, my personal feeling is this is needed. It's different. A lot of people want to say, is it bias in a way? Inherently, everybody has a bias, but at least my bias isn't for the war machine, the propaganda machine, the military-industrial complex, the corporations. It's just showing what people are doing, and my personal feelings are always going to be on the side of the oppressed, which is a majority of the people in America, of all races. Some more than others, obviously. But they're talking about shutting down the economy again. We should ask people, what are they going to do when that happens? Because $600 that the federal government's giving people runs out on July 31st. Are we taking a nice time to stroll through Seattle? Do you know where we're going?
I'm sorry? Do you know where we're going?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we're fine.
I thought we're fine if that's what you because what they had blocked off.
So just giving you guys a nice little tour of Capitol Hill neighborhoods. What? What's it called?
Cal Anderson.
Cal Anderson.
The north part of the CHOP.
Okay. So this is a north part of CHOP.
We're kind of northeast of where the CHOP
Yeah.
was.
So right now we're kind of circling the zone that they blocked off. They blocked off, all the entrances to Chaz Chop. So we were just walking in the circle around to see if we missed anything. Oh, looks like they blocked off this road.
Okay.
Is that a paddy wagon? Probably.
It looks like a paddy wagon. Might not be, but it looks like it. I think it is.
Let's just go left here where they... Oh, there's cops there too.
Okay. So should we go... How do we get back to where we were?
Well? Probably go through the park. I mean, I wonder if we could just go around here.
I'd say just go up north and then that way, right? Yeah.
These police officers weren't wearing riot gear.
They are or not?
They were not.
They're not. Like I said, I feel like the LAPD during their worst time, like about a month ago, were the worst because they had the shields. They were like, I think all of the cops have backed off, to be honest, because of all the lawsuits they're getting. But specifically, from what I saw, thought LAPD was much worse, and they had like way more cars. They would have had like tons of cars for this. Do you not think? That's like the only section of cars that I've seen.
Your pants.
Oh.
Look, Nate, I was just tired of you being so cool with your staff, okay?
You had to keep your lipstick
Man.
and your cone. I think the cone may be a liability, personally.
Look, you take care of yourself.
Right.
I'll take care of Franklin.
Fair enough.
And the batteries of the mic are running out.
Battery mics? Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna switch it out.
Attached to the
Okay. You want me to hold the
Put up more of this.
camera? Or you want me to hold
See
it?
it as.
All right. I
You don't
can.
need us at all.
Hold on. Grab that.
It's always nice to have some hot meals.
Okay, so we are going to switch out batteries for the mic here as we make our way back to the protest because we were circling around. It is still blocked off over here. Jesus. It is still blocked off. So I guess we keep going north. All right. What do you guys think?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Nate would have a better idea than I would.
Are we past the car now?
Past the park?
The car.
The car. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the car is still. That was a nice spot, though.
All right. So, various businesses have their support of Black Lives Matter. So right now we're going to cut the audio real quick as I switch out batteries. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Do y'all hear me? Please let us know in the chat. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. The revolution will not be televised, but you bet your ass it will be live streamed.
I didn't realize he had the phone mounted on top of the camera. We're not gonna chat right live.
They got to get a way to get the camera feed to either cell phone.
Are they saying it's good? Here.
Yep.
All right, all right.
That's the next thing. We need the live
Well,
thing or something else
Right.
that works like that. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You know what live view solo is? It's this contraption that you can hook up to just about any video recording device, and it'll stream your feed
The more Patreons we get, the more equipment we can get to do more of this. Multi-streams. Yeah, thank you guys. We're here because of you. I mean, to make this possible. Also because we feel like we need to obviously cover as much as we can of what's happening. Because the narrative is always twisted. Always. What a beautiful park. Too bad it's blocked off. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, isn't this park where people said like shit happens all the time anyway? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like a lot of people were pointing to the criminal activity going on. Well, that happens naturally after dark here. I've heard it from about 3 people now who live in this area. Once it gets dark, I have a feeling there's going to be some altercations. Let us know in the comments what's happening in your state. Like, I want to know what's happening in Atlanta for 4th of July, in Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Because in LA, they basically they closed down everything. They closed down the beaches for 4th of July because of COVID. But I also think they're taking advantage because people are still out in the streets protesting. The action happening right now? Okay, so right now we're in Capitol Hill. If you're just tuning in, we're in Capitol Hill, which is an area of Seattle. It's like like the district part of Seattle. And this is where Chaz/Chop was before the police started coming in, and they fully came on in this morning at 5 a.m. and started going in and blocking people from entering where it was before. Protesters were here early on, and now they have continued to have a standoff with the police. Just peacefully, as far as I've seen right now. No violence. A little bit of shouting exchange, but nothing that you wouldn't see at a regular non-violent protest.
We're getting back to that. Tell them, yeah, we circled around the Chaz Chop area that they blocked off, and now we're making our way back to the main protest, which is on Broadway and Pine Street.
Exactly. We're just walking.
This is not the Starbucks
No, yeah.
corner of
There's multiple Starbuckses.
Oh yeah.
And who would go to a Starbucks with all the great coffee Seattle has? I don't know. If you've never been to Seattle, they have ridiculous coffee. I smell some Mary. That's cool.
Local wildlife.
Oh, that's awesome.
Some nice mood lighting.
Bear with us, guys. We're just walking back to where we were.
Wait, if you can't breathe through your nose, why does it matter?
People are still like,
Dog, he's a man.
people are still like discussing the whole mask thing, and I don't get it. Like I don't care. Like I don't like masks. I don't like wearing it at all. I mostly wear it because it's the law in the state I'm in. Um, do I really think it protects me? I don't know. I don't trust anything right now regarding COVID. I mean, I think it's real, and I think people are definitely getting sick. But I also think that I wouldn't put it past the government to manipulate anything for their own benefit. I mean, it ended Bernie Sanders' primary run. It put us, people in economic despair, but it also caused people to go out and protest. So I don't know what's going. That's the one issue that I'm like, I honestly can't really say what is going on because they just found traces of COVID in Spain, which is really strange, from 2019. Exactly. So I'm really weirded out by the whole thing. So I just don't feel like there's a need to have that, like, oh, you wear a mask, you're an idiot, or you don't wear a mask, you're an idiot. Like, just, you're not here to police people. Like, just let them be.
Armstrong.
Needs to talk to Elon Musk. SpaceX K9.
Oh, yeah, we watched the launch.
Yeah, I tried to launch the one that got canceled,
Mm-hmm.
but then I had some shit to do. Actually, it was pretty interesting.
All right, guys, it's getting darker. Sunset here isn't till really late, but you can't really tell because it's cloudy. We'll see if it's sunny this weekend. It's supposed to be sunnier. Oh, and by the way, Washington State never opened up their bars. They were just opening up restaurants at a, like half capacity, 25%. They never opened bars, so just a COVID thing. Or at least Seattle or King County. Interesting. like I'm trying to figure out what it is she's doing. I just don't know. Yeah. She's trying. And here we are.
Here's the Jimmy statue.
Oh, let's listen to that. I heard a homeless Bill of Rights. See? Exactly. This is how you do it.
Pick a side.
You guys on the right side of history right now.
Amen.
Our kids drank until they damn. 2020 is a crazy
Amen.
Tacos.
Okay.
You want to go?
Yeah. I need to go.
Y'all see what we can do?
All right, I'm gonna take control of the live stream here. I'm filming and speaking on the mic. People are sitting down in the intersection, and I think this is longer for the 8 minutes and 36 seconds. So 46 seconds. We'll see if everybody gets up. I want to thank everybody who gave us super chat. It directly funds what we are doing. It was very expensive to get out here, which didn't make any sense. The tickets were like $400 round trip, but then like from LA to Vancouver, it's only like 140, which is interesting. It seemed like they didn't want people to come to Seattle. There were rumors that on July 4th there was going to be a biker gang to come and liberate. Seattle of the Chaz Chop, but the police did it this morning at 5 a.m. And we're seeing the protests here. People standing in solidarity with the homeless. Still here, and it is 8 p.m. We were here earlier today around noon, and there are still people here, and the police are still standing over there. There have been multiple people giving away pizza, snacks. Everyone's standing up. Let's see what this guy's saying. We have a Tesla in support.
I've been in talks. I mean, I was arrested.
Fake as shit.
And now it's probably around 9 p.m. It was 8:30 last time we checked. Yeah, it's probably 9 p.m. now. Yeah. You can see the police line just standing there with their wooden batons. A lot of people are very angry with how the police have responded.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! George Floyd!
I promise you guys, do not, your energy, start from your diaphragm and let it out with your chest. What's his name?
George Floyd! George Floyd!
His name!
George Floyd! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Quiet.
Black Lives Matter!
Quiet. Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter!
I want you guys to be quiet.
Now let the cops say it.
Whose lives matter, guys?
He's asking the police whose lives matter, and the police are silent.
Understand what I'm about to say, guys. There's black guys over here.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
So again, there's not really a leadership here. It's kind of like group decisions when everyone makes a decision to take action. Let's go see Fee. Oh shit, look, this Tesla's giving free ride to protesters. That is awesome. Okay, so it looks like they have blocked off the street here. allowing only bike traffic to go through. There was a woman up that road a little bit, redirecting traffic. I don't know how she's going to redirect the bus that is on a
Broadway.
what is that? The line called? The electrical line?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just
Yeah,
the electrical bus.
electrical bus. So that is interesting. So they're blocking off the intersection now, permanently.
So we're starting to talk back.
Really? I did see one police officer who was speaking to a lot of protesters as we were walking around. But other than that, I mean, police have been quiet. I think they learned their lesson from previous protests where they were way too brutal. Now, you know, in every city, police have lawsuits, class action lawsuits against them. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Can't play copyright music.
That's all good. It's fine. We're in public.
No, I can't play it.
I can.
No, I can't.
I can.
He's trying to.
We're in public, bro. I can do whatever I want.
Do you want to talk?
No, I don't.
Why are you doing?
My music. I'm enjoying my music.
Why are you doing that?
I'm enjoying my music.
Are you out here in
I'm
solidarity?
enjoying my music. Let me enjoy my music.
I have a man who is harassing me behind me.
Harassing. I'm just enjoying my music.
He's trying to play music into the
I'm
mic.
harassing you. I'm playing music.
I'm going to turn off the mic real quick.
Just being a big white guy with like this.
Yeah, maybe with the eagle head. So this guy, hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you hear me now. Okay, so yeah, I had to shut off the mic because if we catch copyright music on the stream, they'll shut the stream down. So that's actually what that guy was doing. He was just came out of nowhere, started playing music, which
He didn't seem to like the camera in his face when I got there.
that's interesting. Have you
The crisis actor.
Didn't like your camera.
crisis act?
Yeah, he didn't like it when I started filming him.
That's interesting.
So he's
Yeah.
not actually a local.
What do you?
He said he was a local.
Yeah.
He followed us on the way out too. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. He was on us until about that Indian place.
So apparently he followed us out of this protest, and then we circled around the whole Chapcha zone, and we came back, and he just came and tried to blast his music into my mic here. So we have people on the ground trying to suppress the voice of the press. We're here. We're mostly on the side of the 99%. I mean,
Being generous. I mean, it didn't seem like he knew.
he was not. He just went attacking me out of nowhere. So that was very interesting, and we'll have to see if we get more of that. If that will happen more often. Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know. That was. So here we have the crowd again. Just we have a nice crowd here. Probably just a couple hundred, probably 100, 150 people here in solidarity for the movement. So here we can see, I just saw Fee. I was looking for Fee. So earlier, protesters were blocking off the intersection for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, which is how long the cop's knee was on George Floyd's neck. I found Fee. Fee.
I have some news. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Some dude.
So we go to the taco place, right? And apparently, supposedly, the protesters are going to march to the mayor's house.
Oh.
And the mayor, now she is under witness protection. The guy was like saying they should not go in there because the feds are going to she's got the feds. Apparently because of something that she did foreign policy-wise with Russia. This is crazy. I want to look more into it, you guys, so I can, but he was freaking out for the protesters for going in there because he said that's all this would end if they went to her house. So he's hoping they don't go there. So, yes. He was like, he's for the protest. He's supporting, but he's like, don't go. He didn't even want to talk. He was like, once the feds are involved, forget it. So, but then I'm thinking dude, but that's the problem. That they're literally the problem. The corruption and it's all of it.
So yeah, some dude harassed me. He started playing music into the mic, trying to get us.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if they were from another channel or something.
He's a white dude. I don't know.
Oh.
Everyone has been pretty cool with us. So.
Yeah. There's always some, quote, bad apples. I'm curious to where this is going. If that's the case.
We should, where does the mayor live? Did he tell you?
No. But obviously it's walkable.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if this group is affiliated with that.
That guy shows up and they're ready to take pictures, start taking pictures.
Anyone else smell bacon?
Alrighty. I'm so intrigued by that. I feel like Pasta should look it up right now.
He was just trying to call you.
Pasta?
Yeah.
Oh. Tell him he needs to not interrupt the stream. Ah. She said the mayor's house is just east of here, Windermere. That's what it's called.
Ooh. Maybe we should just head on over there.
Mayor's house is just east of U District.
Go on, Pasta.
Okay.
No one can hear us. Hey, what's up? Okay. Ten a.m.?
What? Really? Jesus. So apparently, Seattle PD is on the news right now complaining that they can't use rubber bullets against protesters, against quote violent protesters.
West.
So
Okay. Yeah, we're live right now.
it's pretty funny. Okay, so that's where we are, or that's where it is?
I'm the turtle.
Uh huh.
That's
Even
not far
text
for
that
us.
into
Okay.
the group chat. That
All right. So yeah. So the mayor's house is not far,
yeah. You know, some dude just
right? Or is it?
In a car. It's not far.
It's not car in a car,
It'd be,
but
yeah.
it'd be forever to.
It'll be a little bit of a hike for these people.
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it might not happen today. It might happen some point this weekend, though.
I mean, they've been to her place before, as you probably know.
Yeah. So I don't know why the guy would say that they should stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe there's people going there now.
We're live
Like
right now,
different
so-
people
Yeah.
that are already there.
Well, because her address was revealed. Her address was revealed. So
All right, dude. Huh? Oh, that's Franklin. He looks like you a little bit. What?
All over the city.
That's actually great.
Justice! Because I want to be clear. None of the initials. Justice! Oh my gosh, they're out of jail.
So the people who were arrested before are now out of jail.
Keep it going, keep it going. Let's go.
No. I just saw it. I literally saw it in the car. Caleb and I are standing there like this.
Wait, there's a video of me? I haven't seen it yet.
Yo, we out here to fight for a home. Leaders is here now.
That's
and
right.
now it's time for the decisions to be made. You feel me? We fighting for a home. We not going nowhere. They think this is it? This is not it.
This ain't the end. This is the beginning.
Yup,
This
chapter
is the beginning
2.
of the fucking end, y'all.
Chapter 2, guys. Stay very in tune. Chapter 2.
All right. What time is it now? 9 something.
So
Okay.
I was sent this earlier, and you can see them getting arrested. Right here, and they're doing this
I heard they dabbed you.
This is my first time, but the ones I've been to.
So yeah, as we just saw, a few of the people who got arrested just got released and showed up here in solidarity with the protesters. And here we are, just observing everything. They're chanting Chapter 2. And that's what it seems like. Because unemployment, extra $600.
Meaning, chapter 2. Tune in, guys. It's going to be a great one. We don't lose this time. We know what we're doing now. We're united. When we started chapter 1, we didn't know nobody. Now we know everybody. Now we know us, the people who cares, and we're here. So chapter 2 is going to be a very interesting one, guys. You don't want to miss it, and you really want to be a part of it. I'm telling you. Come down. You guys, thank you. Thank you. Spread the news. Spread the news.
So as you can see, Chapter 2.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a lot of the people on Twitter were telling me, "Oh, I thought all the protests were done. I thought, I'm not seeing it on the news anymore, so it's done." And I'm like, "No, that's what they want you to think. They want you to think it's done, because if you think that, then you'll stop protesting. They want it to be like a trend, and that's it, because they want to have control over it. But really what's been happening is people have been gathering in small numbers, but every single day. We've been seeing it in LA, we're seeing it here now. Every single day they're here at 8 o'clock. So I think that says something. That says that you can't just tell people like Andrew Cuomo did, oh, you got what you wanted, just stop. Like you had your time, you had your fun, now go. Because these issues are very important to these people in this community, and it's not something that's just going to go away. And I think they need to show the government, and they need to show these elected officials that aren't doing their job, that this isn't a game, that these are people's lives. And it's not just the police brutality, but it's also the economic issues that people are experiencing right now. So I think it's a very big deal.
And you're going to see more and more people tie the economic portion of this to the movement, because that's what it comes down to. That's how the system is. It's designed to put minorities at lower incomes. The CIA did the program to run drugs. They formed the cartel, basically.
Yeah, the CIA basically started regime change in Nicaragua in order to give weapons to the gangs that were there. And then it happened in Latin America too, in Honduras, where there was civil unrest, but it also happened here in the United States. And then they turned around and arrested those people, and the CIA operatives behind the whole thing were given a slap on the wrist and let out. That's what always happens, and it's these poor working class people that paid the consequences. And then we had the cocaine epidemic, and then we had the rise in the incarceration especially under Clinton. I would say under Bill Clinton. It started under Bush, then it went with Bill Clinton. He signed the 1994 crime bill that Joe Biden wrote, which is why, again, as horrible as Trump is, Joe Biden isn't the answer.
And I'm going to see, like, when people start saying that, like, when they're going to say, oh, fuck Trump, but fuck Biden too,
We've heard it in LA. I heard it myself in one of the protests I went to. I think we interviewed that guy, and he was like, man, I don't like Biden either.
That's right. One of the protests in the very beginning, the first George Floyd protest by Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, downtown. Yes, one of the protesters said he didn't like Trump or Biden. See what happens?
It's like an hour by the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's close, but it's like not an hour by car. It's an hour by like walking. Like it's close by car.
We are free. We are free. We are not slaves. We are not slaves. We are not slaves. Our streets! We are free! We are free! Our streets! Our streets! Get that right! Yeah!
So again, police have been standing here all day, blocking off one of the entrances into formerly known Chaz Chop in Capitol Hill, in Seattle. And yeah, they're just standing there. They did, there was footage earlier at 5 a.m. when they were pushing people out and then arrested people, some of who have now gotten out.
Yep. Oh, someone just shined a light over here. What was that? Notice how the majority of the people in the front of the line are white. That's done as well because of, you know, the whole situation where black people and brown people get shot more and get targeted more by police. So it is something that just happens naturally.
Hey, if they attack him, we're all going in. Let y'all know.
Some of these people are wearing Trump Pence Out Now stickers, which is a general sentiment for a lot of people.
They're asking this gentleman to step back over the line. And he's just standing there. I mean, he's just standing there, so. We will see if this escalates or not. Hopefully it doesn't. We don't like seeing violence. But he's just standing there.
You step back.
Get the fuck out of town. Get a new fucking job. Sir, you in the red hooded sweatshirt, please step back on the other side of the tape line. By continuing to stay on this side of the line, you're subjecting yourself to arrest.
You step back.
Remember what I told you when they had done. We stayed together when they had been.
They're playing the theme from Bella Ciao from, what's that show called? You Mom and Dad.
Money Heist.
Money Heist. Back up. Hey!
Fuck you.
Holy shit.
You're a bitch. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. You're a bitch.
Make sure you're always on higher ground so we don't get stuck in this because we don't want to ruin the equipment.
You back up. You back up. You back up. You back up. You back up.
We just told people not to throw anything, you guys. This is usually what happens. The majority of these people do not want violence.
Get names. We didn't even touch you.
People are chanting, quit your job to the police, and you can hear a gentleman with the flutes playing some revolutionary music. As you saw earlier, the police just rushed the line, and backed up. The protesters are asking the police to back off.
Baby.
Yeah, we'll do that once we cut this.
Okay.
I don't know, because
I
we
could
might
go
have to
and take-
recharge your phone or something.
Yeah, yeah. And I can go on Facebook at that point too.
Yeah, okay.
And then we can come back on here. We're gonna try to go on all social medias, but Twitter didn't seem to be working as well, so we're gonna stick to YouTube and Facebook. I might try Twitter again. I don't know.
Make me laugh.
That reminds me of Crow.
Fireworks.
We're not okay. So guys, who is doing the fireworks? Because we hear them all the time, and a lot of people are suspect. Like, what do you guys think? Because we keep hearing them here too. I hear them all over in LA, and I hear them here, and I don't know who's doing them.
So things have heated up considerably, and this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, the crowd is pretty small. There's way more police, and they have riot gear, and they have batons. They don't need to escalate shit. I mean, if protesters go and hit them, then okay, I could see why cops can retaliate. But they're not. You know, people are just standing here, peacefully marching, peacefully chanting. They're chanting right now, "Our streets, our streets." So again, we see another example of when police escalate their actions, it heats up the protesters.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Okay. So the guy walked through the line, but is that really that bad? It's a guy with no weapons protesting Black Lives, and the police then automatically swarm in. Now we're gonna blame protesters. I just think the punishment doesn't fit the crime, right? The punishment doesn't fit the crime, and that's the problem with our system. It's the punishment doesn't fit the crime. You like automatically, these people have riot gear, they have weapons, they're marching into these people, all because two people cut the line in protest. What are these people, even if they do that, what are these people gonna do with no weapons? And the signs, like what are they gonna do? How are they gonna defend themselves? You're not fearing for your life at that point. You're just making sure that you maintain power. And that's what this is about.
I've got a new one for you. ACAB. Oh, yeah. Hey. Oh, hi. Nice to see you. Like Franklin from WAP? Yeah. Frank. Nice to meet you for the first time.
You don't cry in the car. Because you guys hide behind your badges and your blue shirts and you guys keep killing people.
Okay.
So yeah, people are just doing the chant, hey, hey, ho, ho, racist cops have got to go. And so we keep saying these chants. I like all these chants.
I mean, I don't see a problem with the chant, and even if you don't agree with the chant, it's their right to say it, right? We always talk about our civil liberties, especially conservatives like to talk about the Constitution and freedom of speech. Everybody should like to talk about freedom of speech, right? Everybody has freedom of speech. If we're going to allow a lot of derogatory language and a lot of hate speech, we should allow people saying racist cops have got to go. It goes both ways, you guys. Like, you can't just pick and choose when it is and when it isn't. I'm a huge proponent of free speech, even things that I vehemently think are racist. because I think it exposes those people as well. What are they saying?
Now they're chanting, quit your job, quit your job.
Because a lot of people don't believe the police should have this job, not under this current structure it is.
It's all about reforming the police. We got to reimagine the police completely. Completely reimagine
I would
them.
say not reform, though. I would say entirely redo the whole thing.
Like
Fully from
blank sheet.
Yeah. There's no reforming right now. We have a super chat.
Yeah, we've gotten a few super chats. I'm going to read a couple of these super chats here. Blanco Alvarado, thank you for being there and showing the world this great revolution. Thank you so much for your super chat. We've had a couple way before. Let's see if I can find them. We got some trolls in the chat. Michael.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of the other super chats. I think I saw a sticker was one of them, and another one saying thank you, But yeah, we really appreciate the support, guys. This is what keeps us on the ground, helps us stay on the ground, helps us go to these locations, helps us show the truth, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, like, do you see any mainstream media on here with the protesters? Because you're not going to see that, and the reason is because it doesn't fit their narrative, and they're scared. They're not necessarily working here with the people, so it is a risk. It's not like easy to come to these protests all day and like be out. So we thank you for the support you give us. Just remember too that what you're getting here is not being twisted by somebody who's above me to tell me what to say or how to promote it or how to fix it into a certain narrative. One of the biggest things for me is that the truth comes out, because we're not getting the truth. The American people aren't getting the truth right now. They're getting propaganda by the status quo.
Another super chat from Anthony saying, feeling the same from Detroit. Day 35 for us.
Detroit has been on top of it. Can I say they have been on top of it? It's awesome to hear that this is happening everywhere. And I'm so excited that's the case. I've seen it too, Milwaukee, Detroit,
He
LA.
The Progressive Party here in Washington.
Oh, hell yeah.
Their name is Michaela.
Bella ciao.
The flautist?
The flautist, yeah.
Joe.
It's awesome. Why is that show so popular with people?
Song. I love this song. The show's popular because they steal money from a bank. It's called Money Heist on Netflix. They steal money from a bank and then they get support of the people because they give some back to the people.
Right, they're stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
Robin. Police are telling one of the protesters on that side, I believe, that I'm pointing at, to stop moving the parking sign or the do not cross sign. Then they pointed him out with gray jacket.
I gotta say, if the younger generation is in charge, I don't think the system's gonna last, you guys. And that's a good thing.
Take off your riot gear! 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 Well, thank you. Take off your riot gear.
We don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
We don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
Take off your riot gear.
There's literally not a riot here. There's just people standing here. No one has any weapons. No one has batons like the police does.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like nobody has a weapon.
Let's go over there.
Okay.
The first scene.
When am I getting my refund? Huh? You guys ever wake up at night thinking you have those kids shot in the fucking back? Not those moms shot in the fucking back like you?
Holy shit, look at this dude.
Sorry.
Who pays for that? Who pays for you?
Come back the sidewalk, you mean?
What order was that here?
What are you looking at here?
Order these nuts.
Where did they go?
On the other side.
What are you looking at?
No, well, maybe they are now. I don't know.
We should see if the police are forming because they're forming. You know, in LA they always like start coming in from the sides to kettle people.
Right.
So we should be watching for that.
Oh, he's talking to they're moving the parking.
Shining defund SPD, meaning defund Seattle Police Department.
It's good to see you out here, man. Nice to see you're still at it. Yeah, because like they said over for it's fucking clean. They're here to try and make us go away.
Well, that's the idea.
Yep.
But I'm not going to go away because of all the crap.
Yep. No, I'm done with it.
It is a nice suit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what Jenny Durkis is fucking doing. Like, it's just prolonging the inevitable.
We don't think she's going to be reelected.
No, well, not on this.
I don't know.
Porky Pig would have an easier time.
Are they still going on about the parking?
Adorable little guys.
You're not allowed your big fucking sticks, you pricks!
They're probably all the guns.
So cute. You don't think that.
They've all got fucking gas masks on their
Okay, awesome, got it.
We need to get rid of that. This is what
It's great.
that way, if you come get somebody personally, that's how it ought to be. If I shoot somebody on the street, I get in trouble.
So I was reading that they're not allowed. They're not allowed to use gas masks or rubber bullets or gas on the protesters. They're not allowed, but they're upset about it. So they weren't allowed before, and they used it anyway. So we'll see what happens. You know.
Let's take a break because this runs at 20%.
Yeah.
And then I got to use the restroom.
Okay.
I don't see no
All right,
sign
guys,
there
we'll
yet.
be back.
Take off.
We're going to take a break here. It looks like things have finally cooled down. Protesters are cool now. Cops are just standing there. They're definitely way closer to the police line. But I think everything's finally cooled off, which is better than stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, again, please subscribe if you're not subscribed because we're going to be covering this. We're here till at least through the weekend after July 4th. We will probably be coming back on here soon again, but we need to recharge our phones and find out where the next big protest is.
Yep. Bye, guys. Combo out.
Combo out.
Oh, in the car?
No helmet.
We will be on again, yes.